Imagine a room without weapons, without soldiers, and without explosions. Long wooden tables fill the space. Men in dark suits sit quietly, papers spread before them, pens moving slowly across official documents. No one raises a voice, yet everyone understands the gravity of the moment. Inside this room, decisions are being made that will shape global power for generations. This is not a battlefield, but it will decide winners and losers just as surely as any war. It is July 1944. Delegates from 44 Allied nations have gathered at the Mount Washington Hotel in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. Outside these walls, World War II is still raging. Cities lie in ruins, economies are shattered, and millions are dead. But here the focus is not on bombs or armies. It is on rebuilding the global financial system from the ashes of war. Everyone in that room knows a fundamental truth of history. Empires rarely fall first on the battlefield. They fall financially. Money determines who rebuilds, who lends, who trades, and who leads. Whoever controls the global currency controls it. The flow of power long before soldiers march or flags are raised. For more than 2 centuries, the British pound had ruled global trade. It financed factories, colonies, railways, and wars. London was the financial heart of the world, but 2 devastating world wars shattered Britain's finances. National debt exploded, industries weakened, and the empire that once ruled the seas was financially exhausted. So something rare happens. The world quietly agrees to transfer reserve currency status from one empire to another, from the British pound to the American dollar. This was not an act of kindness. It was an acknowledgement that Britain could no longer carry the financial weight of the world. This moment was not unique. It was part of a cycle that has repeated itself for more than 5 centuries. Again and again, history shows the same pattern. A nation rises through innovation and trade, reaches dominance, overextends its power, and eventually loses financial control. Every global reserve currency follows the same 4 stages. First comes the rise driven by innovation or expansion. Then the peak when the currency becomes nearly universal. Next comes overextension marked by debt and military strain. Finally comes decline when trust fades and power shifts elsewhere. To understand this cycle, we must go back to the year 1450. Europe is economically constrained. Trade with Asia depends on narrow land routes controlled by powerful intermediaries. Spices, silk, and luxury goods are scarce and expensive, limiting growth across the continent. In 1453, Constantinople falls to the Ottoman Empire. The old trade routes are now controlled by hostile powers. Prices soar, access shrinks, and European economies suffer. For most nations, this is the end of opportunity. For one small country, it becomes the beginning. Portugal sits at the edge of Europe with little land and limited population, but it has vision. Instead of fighting for blocked routes, Portugal looks to the open ocean. Its leaders invest heavily in navigation, shipbuilding, and exploration. Portuguese sailors develop advanced ships, improved maps, and new navigation techniques. They are willing to sail beyond known waters, beyond fear, and beyond existing trade systems. This willingness to explore changes the course of history. By sailing around Africa, Portugal opens direct sea routes to India, Southeast Asia, and beyond. For the first time, Europe can access Eastern trade without relying on land routes. Global commerce enters a new era. Ships loaded with spices, gold, ivory, and silk flood into Lisbon. Merchants from Europe, Africa, and Asia converge in one place. Lisbon becomes the center of global trade, and with trade comes financial power. As trust in Portuguese trade grows, so does trust in its currency. The Portuguese real spreads across continents. It becomes the world's first true reserve currency, accepted far beyond Portugal's borders. At its height, Portugal's empire stretches across Africa, India, Southeast Asia, Japan, and China. But maintaining forts, ships, and soldiers across 4 continents drains the treasury. Success begins to create strain. Competition intensifies. Internal political crises weaken the kingdom. In 1580, Portugal loses its independence to Spain. Its currency dominance fades, proving that financial power is never permanent. Spain rises not through trade innovation, but through resource extraction. In 1545, the discovery of massive silver deposits in Potosi, Bolivia floods Spain with unprecedented wealth. Nearly half of the world's silver flows from a single mountain. Spain mints standardized coins that are trusted globally. Silver becomes the foundation of international trade. The Spanish dollar becomes the world's first truly global currency. It circulates across Europe, the Americas, and Asia. For over a century, Spain appears financially unstoppable, but endless silver creates illusionary wealth. Spain borrows heavily, wages constant wars, and repeatedly defaults on its debts. Inflation destroys purchasing power, and economic stability collapses. As Spain declines, power shifts quietly north. The Dutch Republic rises, not through conquest but through finance. Amsterdam becomes the new center of global commerce. The Dutch invent modern financial systems. Stock exchanges, public companies, insurance, and efficient banking revolutionize trade. Capital moves faster and safer than ever before. The Bank of Amsterdam establishes trust in international payments. The Dutch guilder becomes Europe's dominant reserve currency, anchoring global trade. But war returns. Military conflicts and overextension drain Dutch finances. Debt rises, confidence fades, and Dutch monetary dominance comes to an end. Across centuries, the pattern remains unchanged. Money rises with innovation. It peaks with dominance. It weakens under debt and overextension. And eventually, it moves on. The stage is now set for the next empire. Britain will rise to control global finance, shaping the modern world and proving, once again, that monetary power is always temporary.